course. Of course, camera. Why would you work? Why would you work? Just no reason for you to work. Ah, hello. Hello. It is my affiliate-versary. Look at Poopy. He's so cute. I didn't realize you could see his little ears. I am officially 1 year old in all the measurements that Twitch cares about. And pretty much anything at all. Oh, there's ads. Okay, hold on. 1 second. Okay. So, pretty much anything at all that I have streaming came from the TALOS principle. All of the communities I'm in, all of the people that I know. Except, like, simple, the new people. But I met Neuro doing TALOS principle. I met Roy. Yep. Well, Neuro, you popped in the witness, but you came back during TALOS, and I conned you into doing TALOS. Mm-hmm. So, meeting Roy got PB. Gold-plated games, which got them. Like, pretty much everyone except, like, Megan, who somehow found me in the real world, has all been because of TALOS principle. Oh, you did show up during that, didn't you? 1 year. Only 1 year. 1 year. I would be like, oh, I'm doing really well, except I know people who at their affiliate anniversary were almost at 1,000, so whatever. Fuck those people. Oh, that's true. We did find each other online first. Victor found me in the real world first. I was dating his girlfriend's brother and his wife. Victor was really religious at the time. I'm surprised we managed to survive as friends. Yeah. The pandas suck. However, what this all means is that today we're playing the TALOS principle reawakened. I am whatever I want to be at the time, EO. But generally, I identify as polyflexible, demi, lazy bones, who doesn't brush her hair sometimes and has weird bogwitch teeth and is a meat sack. See? Bogwitch teeth. This is what childhood neglect looks like. Okay, we're gonna play some TALOS principle. Tell me what you think, Yorkie. You think it's terrible? Is it horrible? How I had started playing, so Talos Principle was the second game I ever streamed. How I started playing Talos Principle was because I got Talos Principle when it was new, like way back in the day when nobody knew this thing was going to even matter. Crow Team only had done Serious Sam, and everyone was like, "What are you doing releasing a puzzle game?" And it was hard, and I was far too ADHD and fresh out of an engagement and just miserable with a shitty computer to play it through. So when I started streaming, I did the Eternal Cylinder first because me and my surreal ass love of surreal games. And then I decided I wanted to finish the Talos Principle because I could get it free through GOG. And for some reason, it had disappeared from my Steam library, which I found it again, but whatever. So I decided to play the gold edition because you could get it for free through GOG, and got told by everyone and anyone that I shouldn't play it. I would not grow. That it was not the kind of game that people looked for. And truthfully, my stubbornness in playing small games and wee buddies has definitely hurt me in some senses. Because I continually choose games that no one else is streaming, so nobody's looking for, or that don't have a cult following. But I think that this game best defines my attitude as a streamer, which is you're gonna get what you're gonna get. You know, I'm a depressed person. I do what I can, but sometimes it's not a lot. Uh, I have very strong political opinions. I'm ADHD. I'm never, ever going to be able to afford braces. I'm broke as shit, so I ask for money all the time. Um, um, Captain, I love your discretion advise warnings because it always reminds me of one, Monty Python and the Holy Grails, llamas, and two, Glory Hammer's warning of graphic depictions of Scotland. Also moose, indeed. So I feel like, it was the best choice I could have made because the game itself is kind of like that, right? Like the whole point of Talos Principle is your reality is just not in your control, and you can take control of it if you are one very special person. But otherwise, you're going to be looking at the cave. You're going to look at the cave wall. You're going to have a puppet show of reality. And you're going to have to make the best of it. And so should you go find goodness, right? Should you follow this platonic cave allegory and go find goodness, you're going to climb up the cave stairs, find the sun, which is good, and then no one will understand you anymore. You'll be lonely and afraid, because if you go to talk to your family and friends after all of this is done, they won't understand what you're saying. For those of you who don't know this, this is what the Matrix was based off of. It is from Plato. It is a philosophy of what he thinks reality is. He goes so far as to say that there is a form of everything, like, here's a pencil. There is a perfect pencil somewhere, the form of pencil. Which we know cognitively is actually how we learn language, is that we learn categories of things in our little fat 32. We learn how to define them subconsciously. And so if we see a pencil that looks at different in certain ways, we're able to still call it a pencil. Which is remarkable that BC, this old Greek white guy, well, if you consider Greek white, that's kind of negotiable, was coming up with this. So he says in his allegory, there are a bunch of people sitting around a campfire. The campfire is behind them, and this is an important point. It's behind them, and they are facing a cave wall. On the cave wall is a puppet show, a shadow show, shadow play. They are chained that way. They cannot move their head. That's all they can see. And the shadow play that they're seeing is shadows of forms. They're seeing the Matrix or our day-to-day life. That's how they're living their life. Behind them is this campfire surrounded by Agent Smith, who is holding puppets of all of the forms of reality. And they are pulling those strings for the people towards the wall. They're considered the ultimate immorality because they know reality and they're choosing to avoid it. The cave has like these stairs. It was hollowed out by these Agent Smiths. And as you, a person who has chosen to take the red pill, break the collar around your neck and turn around, you see at the base of the stairs a fallen old man. When you try to talk to him, he speaks gibberish. He can't get food. He's so injured, he can't ask for help. You can choose to help him, but he'll start screaming at you in gibberish. As you go up the stairs, you start to feel warm. And outside the cave door, no matter what time it is the sun. This is the real sun. You've been so cold this whole time, and you didn't even know. The words to describe the sun are so elating that you don't have a syllable to your name. If you want to go back and get your friends and family, you eventually become the old man, rejected, gibberish, starving, holding the good out to those who don't want it. Otherwise, though it's blinding at first and very painful, you step straight into the light. The TALOS principle, as we're playing, this is the TALOS principle in a nutshell. You wake up chained by Elohim, looking at the wall, and through puzzles start breaking the bonds of the chain around your neck. As you progress, you meet some of the puppeteers, and you also meet some of the people who are sitting on the stairs. You have to climb the tower to reach the light, to find the truth, which is illustrated as a gold disc in front of the sun. Not only that, the TALOS principle pulls in things like Dante, Paradiso. Dante describes God as just this ball of glorious light, and these angels just standing around him in concert, staring down at him. And it is so glorious and beautiful that he can't even look. It brings tears to his eyes. And it is all goodness and all light in one section of the world. Just right there. Homer can't even come with him at this point. You can't go into Paradisio if you are from Purgatorio. It's just Dante. These are things that I am saying so that while I play some of this, you can look for these images. Games are so often treated like they are referential or that they don't belong. A book reading? We need an audiobook. That they don't belong in the canon of literature. Game writing is often only noticed when we're looking at dialogue. But there are scenario writers, there are environmental writers, there are level designers. These bits and portions, especially in a game like the Talos Principle, which so vary passive-aggressively and aggressively, but passively. Most, I would say, people who start playing the Talos Principle don't expect a philosophy spoonful. Brought a lot of this discussion into the gaming world without some of the problems that the Matrix has due to the Wachowski sisters at the time, unaware of their true selves or struggling with it, and also their directors. The Republic is not a great read. A lot of it makes you feel like this is why capitalism exists and that Plato sucks. However, the cave allegory and how one compares themselves, I think, is something that hasn't been able to be surpassed by a modern thinker in how to conceptualize perception versus reality. When we look out at something, we perceive it with our senses, but they are limited. This lies in Cartesian a little bit, but I want you to remember that Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." So because dogs don't think, they don't exist. So what Descartes says is thinking is very limited. So we perceive, we feel, we understand what we are presented. We can't see atoms, we can't see chemistry, we don't know the history of the people around us. Well, Megan, in the actual book, that's not the case. Modern philosophers have chosen to adjust it to that. But in the actual book, he is very much specific that consciousness is limited to only humans. Descartes was a mathematician. He wrote his meditations as a way to get to be allowed to perform algebra. A lot of early philosophy was just a way to convince the church that people were allowed to do science. Spinoza, his entire writings are actually deist. If you take out God and put in nature, it means the same thing. And he was just trying to convince the church to let him be a biologist. Tycho Brahe just wanted to be an astronomer. Same thing, almost all of Tycho's writing. Plato and the Greeks were in a society where if you were high enough class, you could sit around and think all day because you had slaves to do everything else. All of these thoughts come off the back of slaves. Slavery is something we should recognize as a pox on all of history. But they did not write in order to justify doing science. Science was all the Greek elite tried to do, whether it was military or aesthetics or even the science of fucking had many adherents. Pythagoras lived in a cave. The Pythagorean theorem was originally a philosophy on life. Go find triangles, you'll understand existence. In fact, when Socrates was murdered, Plato ran off to live with Pythagoras for a little bit in hiding. I say when Socrates was killed, he did kill himself, but he would have been killed either way. Oh, yes. The Symposium! Technically by Socrates, but all of these are written by Plato writing Socrates, is about loving young men and loving learning. Every man in ancient Greece of a certain age had a little boy. And by little boy, I mean usually starting at 12, 10, who was their plaything. It was only considered immoral to continue fucking men once the men were old enough to have their own wives. You just switched little boys. However, the Symposium, when looked at literally, talks about pedophilia. Looking at philosophically, talks about sex and love and how they relate to each other, who has the right to think deeply, and whether thinking deeply from the old is even valuable. Spoiler, Socrates says it isn't. He says that philosophy is a young man's game. There are reasons I don't talk about this stuff a lot, though. For instance, in the Symposium is a strong argument for pedophilia, right? It also argues that women can't be gay, only men, and that the love between an older man and a young boy is the most moral of loves. This shit is gross. Disgusting. Really. But we can pull those thoughts out. So I tend to, when I talk about philosophy, talk only about the concepts and not their sources. The reason I bring up the sources here is because it's important to understanding how hard a group of people who only did Serious Sam and do not speak English as their first language worked to produce this game. This came from an accident in Serious Sam where they made a puzzle that they thought was really cool, and then they made a whole game. This is the post-it note of philosophy games. They spilled glue, and then they had post-it notes. The stuff that I'm telling you, I spent close to $40,000 for my first degree, and this was part of those classes. This isn't like this post-it note of a game is overlooked in so many unfortunate ways. And also, if I don't use this 40K, what am I even doing? I mean, overall, it's like 160K for me. So, lecture is done. Let's play some game. So this is Reawakened. They've remastered the whole thing. And when Crow Team remasters, those of you who know anything about Serious Sam, they don't fuck around. It's not just increasing polygonal count. Jesus Christ. I forgot that Talos Principle is like the loudest thing since sliced bread. Hold on. Ah. That's with music at 60%! Are you joking? You hear how loud that is? You see where I put it at? My fucking god. It wasn't loud on stream? Okay, good. Sounds pretty good? Alright. Good, 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 good. Short doubles on. Let's give some opacity. Loss like that. Ooh, this is nice. I like these. Huge! No, big is fine. Video. Save. Borderless. Great, great, great. Off. Great. Frame rate limit background. Oh, thanks. Sure. I have HDR. Fisheye effect. I do actually enjoy a fisheye effect. DLC. Oh my god. No, let's not do that. But we have the technology for ray tracing. Isn't that crazy? I have a 4070. You released a game that I can't use the top. Fuck it. Let's see what happens when we do this. I refuse. Player speed fast, manual rewind animation. Great. Ooh, we get developer commentary? Okay, they're hilarious, so I'm very excited about that. Tevra? Oh, hi YouTube. Did someone say hi on YouTube? Hi, Tev. Tev is my second follower. Tev definitely came during Talos Principle. Alright, let's play. So, new content! Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, oh, what? You crashed? For the love of God, on the new content. Oh, well. My tumbleweed hasn't shown up. Pretty much every time I day stream, someone named Fox comes into my chat and rolls away. It crashed. It crashed. Do I have to redo all of my options? That would suck. I do know the letter. Okay, the fisheye effect is there, which makes me think... Good. Good. Excellent. All right. Perfect. I was like, are you just not gonna let me do this? What? What? Are you joking? Because I'm streaming, it can't load. It needs more video memory. That is so funny. I have a fucking 4070. 64 gigabytes of RAM. I have a 16-core CPU. That's so funny. Okay, let's see. What am I looking for? Okay, okay, okay. Set priority high. There's actually 2 Taloses here. Is that gonna end the whole thing? Or just this one? Oh my god. That's amazing.